You want to hear some scary shit? Our next story takes place in Ohio. Let's say Cleveland. So, the Lear family moved into a new neighborhood, the suburbs. But I always had an eerie feel, especially the neighbors across the street. We'll call them the Weirds. Anyways, the Weirds were very standoffish. They even looked a little odd, a little pale. They would speak, but they would be overly nice and they would overly smile, kind of overly inviting. The Weirds had 2 children, Sarah, who was 6, and Jane, who was 10 years old. They all played with each other, the neighborhood kids. They all went to school together. And the only thing would be, like, even in the summertime, the kids would be on a strict schedule. There was never any staying late outside. Every time, like clockwork, the kids would just disappear into the house. So one day, the Lear's daughter came home with an invitation to a birthday party for Sarah Weird. Now, the family thought about it because it was a slumber party, and they were a little iffy about it, but they were like, you know what? They're right across the street. I'll do it. Fine, you can go. Against their better judgment. Anyway, so the other party comes. It was an all-day event, so the adults were there for most of the party, and then the slumber party started. Now, it was about a dozen kids there, so again, the Lears were at ease with the kids staying there. The next morning came, and it was time to pick up the kids. And they knocked on the door. There was no answer. There were no cars in the driveway. And it seemed as if the house had aged overnight. Other parents are arriving to pick up their kids, and they're beating on doors. They're looking at windows. They can't see anything. So finally, Mr. Lear knocks the door down, only to discover once he walked into the house that it was empty, dusty, dank, wallpaper peeling off the walls, as if no one had lived there for decades. Oh yeah, and the kids were missing. So they did like any family would do. They called the police. The police arrived to the house, and all the parents are at the Lear's house, like, explaining the story. So the police asked to see the invitation, see if they could get names or anything off of them. And so they showed the invitation. Guess what? There was nothing on them. All the invitations were empty. Nothing written, no time, no RSVP, nothing. This was puzzling. And every family was brought in for questioning. All of them had the same story, same family. And unfortunately, nothing turned up. No one had lived in the house for years. They don't even remember or have records of the last family that stayed there. And none of those children were ever found again. So before you allow your children to go over to their friend's house, you might want to do some research, or just don't do it. Now that is some scary shit.